Welcome back inside the hall. Sam Dostler, Dave Scott with you, and one very special guest right now.
Yeah, is this Dave and Sam?
Yeah, how you doing, Bill?
It's pretty good. You know, it's funny. You guys asked me to give a call and talk as we approach March Madness and all the games I've been doing on the West Coast with Dave Pash on ESPN. And I realize this is Springfield, Massachusetts, so close to Boston. I spent some of the greatest years of my life playing alongside Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish. And I can tell you about Larry Bird, how much of a competitor he was. You know, there was a time in the Celtic shower where I threw the soap on the ground, and Larry and Kevin dove for it, and Larry always got it. He always got the soap because he wanted it more.
And I'll tell you what, right now we are talking to the one and only, the big redhead, Bill Walton. And you talk about your work with Dave Pash this year. You're out in Las Vegas this week, right? The Pac-12 tournament out there.
I am in Las Vegas. I try to keep everything strictly on the West Coast. My feet are in such pain they throb, and when I get up at 35,000 feet, those are a couple feet that really hurt. That's 3 feet, actually, 35,000 feet, and then my 2 feet. So that's 3 feet that are really in pain. So I'm going to travel by car to Las Vegas, and I look forward to staying at the casinos with Mr. Pash and calling some great basketball.
Now, so talk a little bit about your work with Mr. Pash. Obviously, Dave Pash, one of the great play-by-play guys right now in all of sports, and seems like you guys, for the most part, have a pretty good chemistry. Sometimes he has to refocus you on the game a bit, though.
Well, sometimes, I think if we were to get graded, we get about an A-. We have very good chemistry, almost as good as the chemistry I shared with Steve Snapper Jones, my former Trailblazer teammate when we used to do games with Michael Jordan and on NBC in the 90s, and Dick Enberg would do the play-by-play. What I really want to talk about is Dave Scott. I went to Olive Garden this afternoon, and I went to see Dave, and he promised me the hookup, and he wasn't there, and I actually had to pay for my meal. So, Dave, you owe me the bottomless salad and the soup. That was a bottomless check, so you owe me $14.50. The hall.
All right, Bill, you're actually coming in pretty clear right now, and of course, after your retirement from the NBA, you joined a career in broadcasting, something that we all trying to crack into. I just want to ask you what it was like to overcome your stuttering problem.
Well, this is a touchy subject for me, and as you can hear, I don't stutter anymore. And there was a time in my life where I didn't have much to say, and I couldn't speak clearly. And fortunately, I work with Coach John Wooden, and I walked into his office one time, and I said, "Coach, I'm experimenting with the wacky tobacco, and in order for me to be able to speak clearly, pass classes, and possibly pursue a career in broadcast journalism after all this basketball stuff is done." And he said, "Bill, get out of my office. I don't want to hear about any of that left of circle activity." Nonetheless, he was very happy when I won him championships, and I think he was happy to see me succeed in broadcasting. And although he didn't like when I would tour with the Grateful Dead, but that's a whole other story for a whole other day, guys.
Of course, we're talking to Bill Walton, two-time NBA champion, as well as two-time NCAA champion. Bill, you had the luxury that most players would love to have. You got to play under the legendary Coach John Wooden in college, and you got to spend a lot of your career with the Celtics playing alongside Larry Bird as well as other greats. What was that like?
What was what like?
Being able to play under John Wooden.
I'm just kidding with you, Dave. Well, playing under John Wooden was absolutely it was one of those things. For the first time in my life, I had to conform. There was a team concept. I was a lone wolf when I got to UCLA. And Coach John Wooden says, we're going to be a band. And although you may be the lead singer of this band, you have to get your hair cut. You have to tie your shoes the right way. My first practice at UCLA, John Wooden taught us how to lace up our shoes and tie our shoes. I was blown away. But then later on, when I used to play with the Grateful Dead, I would play drums, and Mickey Hart taught me how to string a guitar, and I saw that the concept of a team transformed from the basketball court into hardwood all the way into the studio with the wood on the walls. And I used to tour with the Grateful Dead, and and Jerry Garcia and Larry Bird were two of the same person, basically, the stars of their unit, but the unit had to function at one and beat as one heartbeat. So it was a tremendous thing to be able to play with Larry and to play for Coach Wooden, and also play drums with Jerry and the boys.
All right, Bill, thank you so much for calling. Always love having
Enjoy
you
Vegas.
Hey, Dave, $14.50. I'll make sure I get it from you. Everybody
Cool.
take care. Thanks, guys.
All right, take care, Bill. Yeah, Bill will see that money from me next if he can remember the number off the top of his head. However, when we come back,